My name is Rasmussen, and I will be discussing creating an ethical culture. The first thing I wish to discuss is the failure in our system. When we look at the history of society, ethical behavior has always been there. Ethical behavior is the morality of to do what is right despite the outcome. And unfortunately, in recent years, this ethical behavior that is supposed to be taught through our society has been exploited because of companies such as Enron, WorldCom, and other large corporations. They have chosen unethical behaviors. And because of their decisions, the society has placed a burden upon itself to have these ethical behaviors be taught more abundantly in schools and also in businesses. Because as I've started my college career path, there hasn't been a single accounting or business class where ethical behavior wasn't first discussed. Next slide. So with companies going about in the right direction, they need to establish correct ethical behavior, and for them to do that, they need to establish the right culture. And companies can't do this solely by having employees read the code of conduct or just attend meetings about ethical behavior. There are other ways that companies can measure their success on how their company is doing by doing 4 simple principles or having outcomes. And those 4 things, as quoting from David Gebler and also from the National Business Ethics Survey, these 4 things are reduce misconduct observed by employees, reduce pressure to engage in unethical behavior, increase willingness of employees to report misconduct, and also greater satisfaction with organizational response to reports of misconducts. If these 4 outcomes are met, you can bet that the company is establishing the right culture. Next slide. The next thing I wish to talk about are the 7 levels of an ethical organization. The first level is financial stability. Every company wishes to have financial stability. Unfortunately, that isn't always the case for every company. But when companies focus more on trying to solve their financial loss, they tend to focus less on their conduct and their behaviors and focus more on trying to get their way out of it. And that leads to unethical behaviors. And these things can be seen through Enron and also WorldCom. When they suffered losses, they too tried to cover it up to present themselves as a profiting business. The second level is communication, and this is the key to every business, because when you don't have correct communication between leaders and employees, you'll have dissension, distrust, and disloyalty between the employees and their leaders. And when you have that, the employees tend to do the wrong things because they don't trust their leaders and try and do things on their own and develop a self-help attitude. The third level is a system process. If companies are able to establish this, they have implemented strong internal codes. And even when they try to succeed and reach level 3, such as a system and processes, there is still room for error, because when they focus more on the processes of the corporation, they might have their employees take shortcuts, or the employees that develop a self-help attitude and do unethical things that try and reach the goals of the company. The fourth level is accountability. This is the level where managers, employees, leaders try to develop where they take accountability for their actions. Also on this level, managers and leaders also try to take what their employees say to action, because they need to admit that they don't always have the answers to questions. The fifth level, in the next slide, is alignment. Developing a shared interest of the future and value of a company. When you have this developed throughout the company, everyone knows where the company needs to go and how to progress the future of the company. When values are established, people don't need to question what to do next, or should they do shortcuts to get those goals. The sixth level is social responsibilities, and companies at this level are more aware of their role in the community. They have employees take time off to do volunteer work in their communities, and they are more aware of what their products are doing for the world. The seventh level is sustainability, and that level is to reestablish all the 6 levels and to make sure that a company is establishing their role as a whole.